Happy opening day of portal season. This is Frank. This is House of Orange TV. Man, there's a lot going on today, as we knew it would be with the transfer portal opening today. It's open for 2 weeks. Last night I put a video out talking portal, had some portal entries yesterday. We had more last night after the video. We've had more today, and then there's plenty of targets starting to emerge as well. Plus, it looks like the completion of Jim Knowles' defensive staff here. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe. Appreciate all your support here as well. Let's get into the departures first. Last night, a little bit later in the night, after I'd already recorded, it was announced Ricky Gibson was hitting the portal, Amari Jefferson hitting the portal. We can look at that how we will on Ricky Gibson, and I got a little bit of a problem with this one, and I'll tell you why on this. Obviously, he's free to do what he wants. But last offseason, the guy, not once but twice, held out for more money and got it. You get hurt. You can't fault him for that one. But he didn't even play a quarter this year. And then out for the year. I still don't even know what the full injury was. I've never seen what the actual injury was. I've just seen upper body on it. But, the season comes and goes. Ricky Gibson in the portal. Now, with these departures, there's a part of me wonders, are they encouraged or not? I don't know that. It's speculation on my part, especially if this defensive staff, new staff coming in, new coaches around, which I'll talk more about here in just a few minutes. But Ricky Gibson, that's, what I expected to be an impact player next year in the secondary. And then it was announced today, Caleb Herring has hit the portal. It was another one that I thought could have a chance to make an impact next year. Also, Edge Emmanuel Okoye, not a surprise. He was a guy when they took him, was seen as a project. Just never heard anything there. It seems like that's one of those been recruited over at this point. And, I think based on what I'm reading, and this is per volquest.com, that Jordan Ross is one to kind of watch as well to see what happens there. So it could be a thing, and I talked about this yesterday, where I've seen where Jim Knowles prefers these bigger, stockier ends opposed to maybe these more slender, faster guys. And, is that part of it? I don't know all that, but I have for sure seen that. I don't know if money is an issue with these guys. I don't know what they're being advised. I've seen speculation because, talking about defensive staff, it doesn't look like Coach Chop. I don't know. I've not seen on him, but I think it's possible he's not back. And he's been one of the main recruiters. Could some of these guys leave? It is what it is on it. But that's what we've got now. Of course, yesterday too, you had Lance Hurd, Bennett Warren hitting the portal. Will there be more? Absolutely. I think there's going to be more guys within this 2-week period that hit the portal, whether they're encouraged to, whether they're not. In this day and age of the portal, the only thing that's sure is the unsure on it. So that's kind of where we're at now. Looks to me like a couple of guys are in for next year, current team, based on some of their social media posts today. Ethan Davis tweeted out, looking forward to year 3. Ty Redmond just put a tweet out I saw a minute ago where he just put a picture, put an orange and a white heart on it. That leads me to believe that he'll be back as well. And so targets are starting to emerge. And I'll be honest, there's not a lot out here on quarterback. The one thing I've seen is that, again, this per VolQuest looks like Brandon Sorsby is going to be Texas Tech or LSU. That one seems to be nothing happening there. But I have seen that Tennessee's going to look into Sam Leavitt pretty hard. Now, will anything come of that? I don't know. The rumors are out there. I've seen Oregon, Miami, LSU mentioned with them. I've started seeing rumors here in the last little bit that maybe Kentucky is an option. Of course, Oregon's offensive coordinator is going up there. What looks to be a really good hire for Kentucky. And, we've seen Vanderbilt turn around. We've seen these others. It's not out of the realm of possibility. If you get the right hire, then you could make a turnaround. Overall, Mark Stoops did a pretty good job at Kentucky. He fell out of favor. I don't know if he got complacent or what happened there, but it's gone downhill the last couple of years. Kentucky had to make a change. But that'll be an interesting one to watch, and I don't know how serious it is with Sam Leavitt in Tennessee, but I've seen Austin Price, VolQuest.com, saying that he expects Josh Heupel to try to speak with Sam Levitt when the portal opens, which is now open. So it'd be interested to see if they have spoken or not. And it was tweeted out that Sam Levitt does have a do not contact tag on him. So that means he can do the contacting, but he can't be contacted here as well. I love the idea of Sam Levitt. I think he would be a great fit. Now, how much would it require to get him? I don't know on that one. If he's a $4 to $5 million guy, especially coming off of a surgery, do you risk that or not? But the bottom line is Tennessee has to have a quarterback. They've only got two. They've got two young guys. So do you go out and get a starter, or do you just get a guy to come in and battle for the job and possibly be a backup for depth purposes? But just not a lot out there on quarterbacks in Tennessee, but there is a lot out there on other targets. And, looking at it as well, offensive-wise, you got to have a quarterback. What route do they go? Do they need impact starter, or do they need, again, depth? Running back, I've seen the names Hollywood Smothers, NC State, Cam Cook, Jacksonville State mentioned. I just don't see Tennessee needing to do anything at wide receiver. I don't see them needing to do anything at tight end unless you have some unexpected departures. I know at wide receiver, Chris Brazel's to the portal, Chris Brazel to the NFL, Amari Jefferson to the portal. And no surprise, he didn't factor in. It didn't look like he was going to be a factor. If you get the other five guys back, you add Tristan Keys, you add Tyreek King to the fold, you're in pretty good shape there at wide receiver. Tight end, you're scheduled to have back Ethan Davis, Jack Van Dorselaer, Deshaun Brain, Cole Harrison, then you added Luka Wolf. You're in good shape there. Could you get a departure there? It's possible. But, they seem to be in good shape there. Offensive line, I've seen some freaking out over Lance Hurd leaving. It wasn't my preference that he left. Don't get me wrong on that. But per VolQuest.com, his agent, it said ask point blank for $3 million. Tennessee made the choice they had to make because David Sanders can move to left tackle, which was the plan. Jesse Perry, we saw him beginning the year at right tackle, did an excellent job. And then you got Sham Umaroff, you got Sam Pendleton, you got Wendell Moy Jr. on the interior. You're good on the offensive line. You do need depth, but, that's where hopefully you can build it with some of these young guys. And, even though Tennessee has had Bennett Warren, they've had Max Anderson hit the portal, are there other guys they can mold to get in there as well? Could Tennessee take an offensive line for depth purposes? I can't see it. Unless it's somebody comes in for cheap on that. Defense, they need help at all three levels. Let's start where we're at on the defensive line. Couple names I've seen mentioned, and they're pretty good ones too. We'll see where they're at. Mateen Ibaragba from Wake Forest. He's a defensive tackle. He's a run stopper. Looks like he may be visiting this weekend. And I saw the name Xavier Gillum from Penn State. If I'm not mistaken, he was a redshirt freshman this year. Another 300-plus pound guy in there with a lot of potential. Played a lot for Penn State this year. So Tennessee's going hard to add in the middle. There's the name, of course, Chaz Coleman, defensive end. And it said, a lot of the talk's been Ohio State, but it says Tennessee and LSU's coming on. So I got to think that NIL money is starting to get out there in a little bit. Now, Caleb Herring leaving. Joshua Josephs was already off to the draft. The possibility of Jordan Ross leaving as well. Tennessee's probably going to try a bit harder to get Chaz Coleman in. He kind of fits, and, obviously he's played for Jim Knowles, so he's going to fit what they're doing there as well. Linebacker looks like a good chance, based on what I'm reading. Keaton Thomas, Baylor linebacker, had over 100 tackles this year. Looks like he's a realistic possibility there as well. I think it said the way I'm reading it, he'll be visiting this weekend. And got to think Tennessee may wrap that one up pretty quick. Again, according to VolQuest, says they have some real traction on this one. And then I saw another linebacker, House from North Carolina. I don't have it pulled up here, first name, but saw that he's possibly visiting. So is Tennessee going to try to take one, or are they taking multiple linebackers? I think you see multiple linebackers, you'll see some portal departures at that point. But that's speculation on my part. Defensive backs, I've specifically seen a couple safeties that Tennessee's pretty heavily involved with. Tawfiq Byard from Colorado, that one's been mentioned before. It said he'll visit Texas A&M this weekend, and then he'll visit Tennessee a couple days. And then you got Quay Moss from Kansas State as well. Says he'll be in town early this weekend. Says Tennessee feels good about the visit with him. So they're busy. They're busy in the portal right now. And I know there's a lot of freaking out over departures and stuff. And I think in this day and age, you got to expect you're going to lose good players. And, I'm not sitting here telling you Tennessee wanted to lose any of these guys or anything. But you know what? I feel good. I feel good about where they're going. And I'll tell you why on this. Because I think Josh Heupel means business. The moves he's made tells me he means business. If he would have stayed with the status quo, brought back Tim Banks, brought back everything in check like nothing was a problem, brought back Kurt Schmidt like strength and conditioning just fine, I would have been a lot more concerned on that. The fact that quickly they made that change from Tim Banks, went out and got Jim Knowles. Let Jim Knowles come in and bring his staff. That staff looks to be complete now with Anthony Poindexter as safeties. Excellent hire. Harris Jr., Michael Harris Jr. I think I'm wrong. Michael Hunter Jr. I'm confusing with the break. Michael Hunter Jr. coming from Ohio State, who's been an analyst there, familiar with Jim Knowles before. A.J. Jackson, who was with Knowles at Penn State, comes in as a defensive end coach. And then you got Rodney Garner returning on the defensive line. You got William Inge coming back at linebacker. I haven't seen that Chop is gone yet. But it seems like there's not an on-field role for him if he's back. So we'll see where it comes in. It was announced last night. Of course, Willie Martinez will not be back. I got to think Chop is out as well. And, to me, the secondary was just abysmal this year, especially at safety. And, the defensive ends started out hot the second half of the year, not creating a whole lot on it. And that, it goes a lot of different ways there as well. Let's make no mistake about that. But again, why am I not freaking out about it? I really think this time Tennessee's going to make things happen. How many portal pickups will they have? You got to have 10 to 15 at least, I think, because you need, again, a quarterback, a running back, and you need a lot of help on the defense there as well, especially the interior. You've got to shore up that middle. You need safeties. Now with Ricky Gibson gone, Ty Redmond coming back as your really only kind of proven corner, they need help. They need help in the secondary in a big way. So we'll see. There's going to be more names. There's going to be a lot more come up later on. But, I'm encouraged by what I'm seeing now. And I don't necessarily think, the transfer portal rankings are the be-all, end-all. You look at a guy like Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss quarterback. He was way down the line, and look what he's doing. A lot of it's about evaluation. Tennessee does a pretty good job of that. They did a pretty good job last year getting some transfer portal help in as well. And I think some of these connections as well. And, another one at safety is I've seen it earlier, Mack from Penn State, who's believed to be one of the better safeties in the portal. So that could be another good pickup as well for them. Tennessee's safety unit's going to look interesting next year. And I wonder if that causes any attrition as well. I think there's a lot of moving parts here that's worth watching in terms of what they do. And you know what? It is what it is. We can sit here and say all day long that, you don't want to lose this guy and that guy. But on the defense, there are guys I don't want to lose, period. There are guys that I don't want to, but we can live with on it. I'm not at that point where anybody's hit the portal. It's just like, man, we cannot live without him next year. Again, not saying I wanted Ricky Gibson, not saying I wanted Herring, Lance Hurd to go to the portal. But at the same time, I feel pretty good. I like this defensive staff that Jim Knowles has put together. I think there's a lot going on. I think it's going to be a lot better unit. And I just think we'll see a lot better things for it next year. And then a key, what do they do at strength and conditioning? Those two things are big for it. But any more news today? I'm going to record some baseball stuff here in a little bit. There's a departure to talk about there as Josh Elander did announce the roster today. So we're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes as well. This is Frank, House of Orange. I'll see you when I see you.